Chapter 12. As the firemen fight half-heartedly against what they know they have no chance of beating, Jean puts the note in her pocket and strolls away. The way she figures it, the bastard had sat in the house for an hour or so, just stewing in his own dilemma. He probably tore the house up to let go of his anger, and then just sat there. He probably got the idea of going off and leaving nothing behind. That's why he started the fire. For a moment, she thought he might have left himself inside the inferno, but he was a man with a mission, so that wouldn't make sense. She laughed again. She walks all over the town, past the block where they had grown up, through the field of the high school they had attended. She wanders aimlessly for hours, hoping that they would have a chance meeting on the street. She knows that he has to wait until tomorrow morning to get to the bank. She would have to meet him there in the morning, or, more accurately, beat him there. She wanders and saunters and sways with the calm breeze. She begins to think he is purposely avoiding all their special spots in hopes of not running into her, and in fact, he is. If she had used logic for a moment or two, she could have carried herself over to the harried inn where, 2 years ago, they had their wedding reception, where, right now, John is waiting in a room in the front of the building, waiting for his wife to come to him. At around 3:30 in the morning, she grows very tired and walks slowly to Vinny's apartment. She knocks on the door and is greeted by Judith in nightgown and bathrobe. Vinny stands behind her fully clothed as he had just closed up the bar. Judith asks what is wrong, and Vinny answers that they were fighting. Jean keeps silent, thankful that she doesn't have to explain the situation in its entirety. The couple tells her she can take the couch, and she collapses onto it and into sleep. 3 hours later, she awakes with a start. She has 3 hours until the bank opens, and it is only a 15-minute walk away. She better not take any chances, though. She moves to the chair. Sitting in the old, comfortable thing, she feels safe to rest her eyes. She closes them and falls back to sleep. Unlike her first snooze, however, this one has a matinee of dream-time theater. On a warm day in mid-June, a 5-year-old Jean sat up in her room talking to her favorite doll. Her bitsy baby had to be dressed in the proper attire for an outing in the sun. Wrapped in her blue dress with white trimmings, her baby was as pretty as a spring flower she took after her mother. Carrying the precious child downstairs, she carefully placed her in her tiny stroller. Then mother and daughter walked out into the shining brightness of the outdoors. The sky was a deep blue and littered with few clouds. Little Jeannie took a deep breath and walked to the edge of the porch. On the railing sat something that caught her attention. She crept up close and looked with wonder at the colorful wings of the tiny black sliver that pumped rhythmically up and down. The creature looked so delicate, and she found herself trying to hold her breath as to not startle it. Without warning, the butterfly took to the air and fluttered around her front yard. Jean, in awe of the flight, ran down the steps and under the curious creature as it circled higher and higher into the sky. She ran in circles, following the pattern of flight, giggling madly. She closed her eyes and spread her own wings, and then she was soaring in the sky. Higher and higher she circled, trying to keep up with the tiny instructor. She was higher than the birds and swirling through clouds, spinning and turning in a wonderful glide, diving in free fall and climbing back up until her house looked like a crumb on a table of grass. She was laughing loudly. She was free until she collided with something. She hit the ground, Fanny first, and was too stunned to talk. A little boy was in the same position as she on the ground. He was stunned too. The little boy hopped to his feet. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bang into you. He tried to help her up, but she wiggled out of his grip. He got in front of her. I was chasing my Grimmy and ran to catch him, and we banged into each other, and I'm sorry. He bent down to her. Are you okay? My bottom hurts, she said. Mine hurts too. She giggled when he massaged his backside. He smiled and sat back down. I'm Johnny, and I live in that house over there. He pointed to the blue house next to hers. I'm Jean Marie, and I live here. She pointed to her house, noticing Bitsy still in her stroller on the porch. She jumped up. I gotta go take care of my Bitsy. She ran across the yard and picked up her doll from her stroller. Johnny ran up to her. Is that your baby? Yes, this is Bitsy. She's pretty. Thank you. She held up the doll. Say thank you to Johnny. You know what else is pretty? What? She said, knowing full well it was Bitsy's dress. You, he said, quickly leaning forward and kissing Jean on the cheek. They both blushed immediately. Then Jean smiled. John started backing up. I gotta go find my Grimmy, he waved. Bye, Johnny, she waved back. John slipped on a hole in the grass and stumbled backwards onto his bottom again. Jean laughed, and John smiled that he had made her laugh. He got up quickly and started running back to his yard. Bye, Jean Marie. She kept waving until he was out of sight over the hedge. She picked up Bitsy to her face and jumped down the steps. She twirled and whirled around in circles on the grass, giggling and laughing as she spun with her baby in her arms. Coming to rest finally under the big oak tree in the yard. Out of breath and kind of dizzy, she fixed Bitsy's dress, confirming with the baby how good a father Johnny would make. The dream fades slowly. She tries to hold on to the image of the little girl under the oak tree. She tries to stop the wheels of time and savor the innocent joy from that memory. The image blurs and fades, and then darkens back into her file cabinet of memories. She opens her eyes slowly, trying to recapture the peacefulness of her slumber. She sits up suddenly when she looks at the clock, 9:45 a.m. Shit, she says aloud as she puts on her coat. She leaves in a hurry and runs down the block. 2 blocks into it, she runs out of breath and slows to a walk, convincing herself that John has overslept too. Then she thinks that he may have overslept by only half an hour, and maybe he is at the bank right now. She pushes herself into sprint. She reaches the bank at 5 to 10 and walks in through the glass doors panting. She looks around, but John is nowhere to be seen. She walks over to her banker's desk. Grace stands up. Mrs. Coletta, your husband was here not more than half an hour ago. He closed out your joint account. Shit, she says again, this time under her breath as she sits down. Grace reaches over the desk and hands her a slip of paper. He left this for you. Jean takes it and reads the notes scribbled on the back. Jean Marie, sorry I couldn't wait any longer. I'm sorry for thinking that you'd come with me too. I have no right to drag you along with me. You've made it more than clear that I have to go this one solo. I don't understand why you can't stretch yourself to believe, but that's for me to ponder as I travel. I didn't mean to hurt or upset you. Maybe I am crazy, but I have to find out for myself if I am. I closed our joint account and opened one in your name. Grace has all the details. Jeannie, there's a good chance that we won't ever see each other again. If that's so, then I want this to be your last memory of me. I love you. John. She takes a deep breath to clear her mind. An hour later, after she had closed the $2 million account that her husband had opened for her, After she said her goodbyes to friends and relatives, she finds herself at the airport looking at the choice of eastbound flights she has, wondering which one will lead her to him and to her destiny.